manager at the Dallas Morning News, and today we have several of our editors with us. They're going to respond to some reader questions we've been getting about JFK coverage. And I'm going to start with George Rodrigue, our managing editor. And George, we've had some questions from people on Facebook about the amount of coverage for the JFK 50th anniversary. And some people think maybe we pay too much attention to it and talk about it too much, and then of course others can't get enough of it. How do you decide how much coverage is the right amount, and what are your plans for the actual anniversary date?
Well, I think to some extent you do these things by bringing smart people together, having a really good editor like Tom Long, who led the coverage team for us, and asking them to think about stories up to the point where they run out of interesting things to say. I don't believe we've reached that point. In fact, I've been surprised at how many new things we've been able to find and write about and share in multimedia on what is actually a fairly well-covered story. I think the stuff's been interesting, and I mean, not to feed the flames of the people who think we've done too much, but we've done a book of notes from reporters who were there at the time. We have a special section coming up on Friday that will have a whole bunch of interesting content, including, I don't want to do any spoiling here, but why the magic bullet theory doesn't require any magic to be true, and some background on things like the Zapruder film. So I think it's been good coverage, and I think, as with anything, if it doesn't interest people, they're free to turn the page and look at the next thing.
Yeah, I would just add with George that we started this project more than a year ago, in which we brought a lot of the different staffs together to brainstorm some of the best story ideas, brought that down to maybe 20, 25 ideas, and then added a few along the way. We launched our stories in January, having maybe one or two each month, and then began to build up JFK50.com, which is our website with all of the stories. We've tried to maintain a real responsible and reflective tone in the coverage, but also bring a fresh approach. So Alan Peppard, for example, has written several stories that bring us into the unfamiliar parts of JFK history, whether it's his political relationship with Richard Nixon, the Oswald's attempted assassination of General Walker, a story that just came out on the forgotten motorcade that JFK went through in his campaign stop here in 1960. These are stories that were fresh to me. In terms of our coverage for the next week, we'll probably have one or two stories for the front page each day, taking a look at who's coming to Dallas for the commemoration, who are some of the media, who are some of the key figures in planning the event, and then we'll have special coverage of the Friday commemoration in Saturday's newspaper.
Okay, thanks a lot, Tom. Kevin is the editorial page editor, and Kevin, you've dealt with some of the more controversial sides of this story, including what has been the impact on Dallas, and really has the city gotten over it. How does an editorial page deal with this story?
It's ripe for editorial page commentary because there are so many different opinions and views about it. We've done our best throughout the year, but most especially in the last month, to give voice to a variety of different perspectives and opinions, including a special Sunday commentary section a week or two ago entitled, dedicated to an emerging picture and exploring this subject. Most excitingly, I think, is this Sunday we have dueling columns from two of our editorial board members taking a different perspective on this issue, and they are at this very moment doing a video as well, sort of engaging in a friendly debate about this topic. Ralph de la Cruz, our newest editorial board member, although he's a Texan, he's lived in Texas for many years, takes the position that 50 years is long enough, Dallas. The headline on his piece is "The Fixation with JFK Assassination is a Symptom of Guilt from Too Long Ago." And then the counter to that is Roger Jones, who's a longtime editorial board member, 25-plus year Texan here at the Dallas Morning News, and he argues that let us obsess in peace, essentially. And the headline on his piece is "Let Dallas Obsess in Peace on November 22, a day that changed the city." And so you can read their kind of dueling columns this Sunday in Points, and then they're also taping a video that will allow readers to see them in the flesh, sort of engage in the same conversation.
Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I've discussed it with Roger a number of times, and for people who don't know, right over your shoulder there, you can actually see what used to be called the Texas School Book Depository Building, and it's something those of us who work in downtown are reminded of on a daily basis. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts on it. I'm sure readers will be interested to hear what you have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.